Cycle breaker, please stop right now. Do not scroll past this message. This is not a random video on your feed, but an urgent divine interception sent directly to your spirit. Archangel Michael has personally routed this message to your exact location because every other gentle sign you received recently was missed. The universe is issuing a final warning to you today. If you leave now, you will single-handedly shut the door on your blessing. You will walk away from your timeline. They always described you the exact same way. They said you were too kind, and they thought you were far too forgiving. They called you the one who always stayed quiet, just to keep the peace. And because of that, they severely underestimated your true power. Welcome to your new era of absolute quiet authority. Funny how the same people who drained your energy are suddenly terrified. They are feeling incredibly uncomfortable around your upgraded frequency. They thought betrayal would finally break you. Instead, their betrayal activated something incredibly primal and dangerous inside you. You made one unseen move that completely changed the spiritual atmosphere. You did not scream. You did not fight back with their toxic earthly weapons. You simply withdrew your pure energy, and you let silence do the heavy lifting for you. That absolute silence was the most devastating move you could have ever made. Your sudden withdrawal broke every single spiritual pattern they relied on. You starved their demons. They desperately needed your emotional reaction to feed their empty souls, but you looked them in the eye, and you gave them absolutely nothing. And now they are forced to watch their own reality crumble into dust, while your reality elevates faster than they can comprehend. The heavy spiritual attacks you faced recently are not random bad luck. The sudden loss of those friends was never a divine punishment. The doors that violently closed in your face were not rejections. They are hard physical proof that the enemy is completely panicking. Why are the forces of darkness panicking so much right now? Because a massive generational wealth transfer has just been approved in your holy name. You are stepping directly into a reality that your ancestors only dreamed about, because you are the designated cycle breaker who finally severed the toxic bloodline. Every tear you cried in secret was carefully recorded. Every time you swallowed your pride, you passed a brutal test. Heaven deliberately isolated you to protect you from those crowded rooms. You were never meant to enter spaces filled with counterfeit energy. They kept you away from people who were specifically assigned by darkness to drain your precious light. You are not going crazy. Your deep intuition has been absolutely perfect this entire time. Breathe that powerful truth into your lungs right now. You did not fail your past relationships. You simply outgrew the shallow soil they tried to plant you in. But there is a deeply hidden mechanism behind all of this pain. There is a secret reason why your financial breakthrough felt so heavily delayed. And you will completely miss the answer if you do not stay until the end of this video. I am going to reveal the fatal trap the darkness is laying down right now, because they are carefully setting this trap to sabotage your new timeline. If you leave this message early, the blessing will still arrive, but you will not have the capacity to hold it securely. I need you to promise your future self something very important right now. Make a solemn vow that you will not let this sacred frequency fade away. The brutal tests and the lonely tears were rigorous spiritual preparation. They were beautifully designed to turn you into a resilient vessel, so you could become strong enough to hold immense generational power. But your vessel is currently blocked by something you cannot see. There is a silent program quietly running in the background of your mind. And I need you to hear this clearly, because it is not your fault. The system programmed you to fail before you even knew how to fight back. They successfully convinced you that your daily exhaustion was totally normal. They told you that constant anxiety was just a standard part of adult life. Do not believe their manipulative lies for another single second. The tightness in your chest is your spirit detecting a massive shift. Your soul deeply knows that you are about to reclaim your stolen power. Before we go any further, I want to hold something profound in front of you. Something that was discovered not inside a church, and not inside a spiritual healing community. It was found elsewhere. It was discovered inside a highly advanced clinical research laboratory. It is something that won the highest scientific recognition available in the world today. And yet, most chosen ones have never been told a single word about it. The elite kept it hidden because it explains something I know you have felt. It perfectly explains the painful gap you live with every single day of your life. You know this gap intimately. It is the wide, agonizing space between your potential and your current reality. It is the distance between the person you know yourself to be inside and the limited version of you that actually shows up in the physical world. The brilliant version of you seems available only in tiny, brief flashes. You know you have incredible miracle-working potential locked safely inside your spirit. I will show you exactly what the neuroscientists found in that lab, but not yet. I will tell you the exact name of this discovery later in this message. First, I intensely need you to fully understand what was actually taken from you. I need you to clearly see the crime committed against your spirit during childhood. So I want you to hold this one specific question in your mind right now. What if the frustrating gap between your reality and your potential is not a character flaw? What if your painful inability to manifest wealth is not a lack of faith? What if the endless loop of toxic relationships is not your ultimate destiny? What if the block has a scientific name that no one ever told you about? Hold that explosive question right there. Let it sit in your spirit while we expose the dark truth together. Before we uncover the hidden mechanism, I need you to anchor your powerful energy. Tap the like button right now as a physical act of spiritual agreement. Show the watching universe that you are finally ready to receive your inheritance. Your physical action right now sends a massive shockwave through the spiritual realm. It clearly tells the unseen forces that you are finally awake, and you are fully aware of your own divine worth. You are no longer the passive victim they can easily push around in the dark. You are the fierce cycle breaker stepping directly into your true kingdom authority. Keep your eyes firmly locked on this screen. The great revelation you have been waiting for is next. You are so deeply tired. The exhaustion in your bones is not just physical. It is a profound spiritual fatigue that sleep simply cannot fix. And every morning you wake up feeling like you just fought a massive war in your dreams. You carry a heavy weight on your shoulders that nobody else can see. The continuous battle against toxic energy has completely drained your precious reserves. You have spent your entire life being the ultimate healer for broken people. You poured your pure golden energy into dark, endless voids. They gladly took your bright light, and they consumed your beautiful kindness without ever saying a single thank you to your face. And when you finally needed support, the room was completely empty. You looked around and realized that your generosity was always a one-way street. Stop blaming yourself for their terrible behavior. Stop thinking that you attracted these toxic narcissists because you are somehow broken. You did not attract them because you are weak, but you attracted them because your incredibly bright light totally blinded their dark inner demons. They saw your beautiful purity and wanted to steal it for themselves. I deeply know about the lonely, sleepless nights. I see you suddenly waking up at 3 in the morning with your mind racing uncontrollably, while your heart beats fast in the total darkness of your room. That sudden tightness in your chest is not random anxiety. It is your physical body detecting the chaotic spiritual warfare happening right outside your door. Your spiritual radar is remarkably sensitive. You have desperately tried to break these toxic cycles so many times. You read all the spiritual books, and you repeated the daily affirmations, hoping that the grueling shadow work would finally bring you some permanent relief. But somehow the painful patterns keep repeating themselves in slightly different forms. A new person shows up with the exact same toxic behavior, The financial struggle loops back around again. You are incredibly frustrated right now. You feel like you are doing everything perfectly right, but getting completely punished for it. The universe seems to constantly reward the selfish people around you, while aggressively testing your beautiful soul with challenges that feel entirely unfair. But heaven wants you to hear this loud and clear today. Your massive suffering is not invisible to the divine source. Every silent boundary you bravely set was witnessed. The intense isolation you feel right now is absolutely not a punishment. It is a strict divine quarantine designed specifically for your permanent safety. God had to forcefully remove those counterfeit connections from your delicate timeline. If they stayed in your life, they would have completely hijacked the immense blessing that is currently descending upon you. Rejection was your ultimate protection. You feel an overwhelming sense of urgency deep inside your spirit. You know that you are meant for something spectacularly massive, but you feel completely trapped in a small reality that does not fit your growing soul anymore. It feels like wearing clothes that are suddenly 3 sizes too small. You are slowly suffocating in environments filled with low vibrational conversations and meaningless drama, because your energy has completely outgrown the people sitting next to you. That sudden intense disgust for shallow conversations is highly intentional. The universe is making you allergic to your old familiar environment, so you can no longer tolerate the fake smiles. Your powerful spirit, Simply, refuses to engage with low-frequency behaviors anymore. You are the rare soul who survived the storm completely alone. But surviving the storm required an enormous amount of your life force. You are barely holding yourself together right now. You look incredibly strong to everyone on the outside, but deep inside your tired soul you are quietly begging the universe for a genuine break. You just want one day where everything flows easily without massive resistance. You want a season where you do not have to fiercely protect your energy from vampires. You deserve that peace. The spiritual exhaustion has deeply impacted your earthly physical life too. You quietly watch people with half your talent easily climb the corporate ladder, while you see shallow individuals effortlessly attract the wealth that you prayed for. It feels like there is a thick glass ceiling completely blocking your financial abundance. You push incredibly hard, but nothing seems to break through. The endless struggle has literally rewired your physical nervous system. You are constantly operating in a highly stressful survival mode. Your beautiful brain is always searching the horizon for the next hidden threat. You find it incredibly difficult to just sit still and relax. Absolute peace actually feels strangely terrifying to you now, because your physical body is so used to fighting endless spiritual wars every single day. I am here to fiercely validate every single ounce of your painful experience today. You are not broken, and you are definitely not cursed by heaven. The chaotic turbulence you are experiencing right now is simply the violent friction of a timeline shifting, because you are being aggressively detached from pure survival, and you are being directly pulled into a spectacular reality of absolute mastery and effortless divine creation. You have asked heaven the exact same question 1,000 times. Why did you have to suffer through so much unnecessary pain? Why were you forced to endure cycles that almost destroyed your mind? Before you do anything else, take a deep breath. I am going to reveal the massive spiritual secret behind your lifelong struggle. The endless delays were not a reflection of your worth, and the universe had to completely break down your old physical operating system because it was heavily infected by the toxic environment you were raised in. The profound truth is that you were actually targeted from the very beginning. The dark forces recognized your massive potential before you could even speak. They saw the blinding light of a future cycle breaker. So they quickly designed a sophisticated, invisible cage just for you. But they knew they could cleverly suppress the physical frequency your spirit uses to communicate with heaven keeping you completely disconnected from your true power. Here is what they never told you. The real reason the universe responds to certain people and not others is not faith. And it is absolutely not about having good karma. It is a brainwave. Scientists have a specific name for it. They proudly call it gamma. And it is the exact frequency your beautiful brain was naturally running when you were an innocent child. Back then, brilliant ideas came to you easily. Rapid learning felt entirely effortless. You somehow knew things long before they actually happened in the physical world. The whole universe felt like it was completely on your side. Then adulthood suddenly arrived at your front door, and the cold modern world went directly to work on you. The heavy screens, the constant anxiety, and the rigid school system relentlessly trained you to conform instead of allowing you to create. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further. It was violently pushed deeper and deeper below the surface of your conscious mind. The brilliant version of you slowly faded away. The child with lightning, intuition, and the kind of magical luck that makes others whisper simply went completely silent. The modern matrix successfully hijacked your organic divine antenna. They replaced your natural genius with endless, exhausting survival beta waves. Most people will live their entire human lives without ever knowing this tragedy happened to them. They will blindly accept the painful struggle as completely normal. You are not most people. And that vital question I asked you to hold earlier in this message, the one about an agonizing gap and a hidden scientific name, is finally making sense. The explosive answer to that question is much closer than you think. This is exactly why your past relationships always ended in bitter disappointment. Your suppressed brainwave literally attracted broken people who vibrated at that exact same low survival frequency. You were frantically trying to manifest kingdom wealth using a deeply damaged receiver. It is like trying to catch a beautiful television broadcast using a completely broken antenna. No matter how hard you aggressively pray, the distorted signal simply cannot get through the dense static, leaving you frustrated and entirely exhausted. You did not fail your powerful manifestation techniques. Your beautifully pure soul was never the problem. The hidden mechanism blocking your prayers for years was the constant hum of those survival brainwaves. That is exactly why your spirit has felt so incredibly restless lately. Your soul is loudly demanding that you restore the original connection, and it is desperately trying to warn you that your divine wealth is waiting right outside your door, but you simply lack the physical frequency to let it in. Listen carefully to this next part. The invisible elite forces know everything about this suppressed frequency. They actively built the harsh education system to keep your genius permanently turned off. They profit immensely from your daily exhaustion because a tired cycle breaker is incredibly easy to manipulate and control from the dark shadows. If you woke up tomorrow with your gamma fully restored, their entire manipulative system would collapse. They are absolutely terrified of what happens when a chosen one finally wakes up. When your frequency shifts back to its original state, you become completely untouchable. The narcissists who used to feed on your anxiety will suddenly feel violently repelled by your presence. Your silent aura will demand absolute respect without you speaking a single earthly word. That is the incredible power of a restored physical vessel. So I want you to completely release the heavy guilt of your past mistakes right now. You were operating a magnificently complex spiritual vehicle while completely blindfolded by the Matrix. The fact that you survived this long is a massive testament to your spiritual warrior bloodline. But mere survival is no longer acceptable for your glorious new timeline. You are powerfully preparing to completely dominate your reality. The brutal training phase of your earthly life is officially over. The painful spiritual patterns are finally crumbling into dust beneath your feet. But there is a deeper layer to this dark phenomenon that you must understand. I have to expose exactly how the dark side operates in the shadows. Before you can fully reclaim your stolen genius, you must clearly see the ancient enemy who took it from you. Now I need you to pay close attention. But there is a deeper layer to this dark phenomenon. The forces of darkness did not just randomly target your life. They operated with cold, calculated precision from the very moment you were born, because they saw the blinding light of a generational cycle breaker entering the earthly realm. And they immediately deployed their best agents to crush it. The system was brilliantly designed to break your spirit early. They built rigid classrooms that forced you to sit perfectly still and memorize useless facts. They completely stripped away your vivid imagination. They punished you whenever you questioned their broken logic. The modern education system is a sophisticated spiritual prison, and it was built to violently shut down your organic genius before you could even realize your true power. And then they assigned specific people to your delicate timeline. The toxic narcissists who drained your pure energy were not an accident. They were carefully planted in your life by the dark elite to keep your frequency extremely low. They deeply knew that if you were constantly fighting for basic survival, you would never have the energy to access your divine intuition and discover the truth. Every time you bravely tried to stand up, they forcefully knocked you down again. They manipulated your empathy and weaponized your beautiful kindness against you. They happily fed off your deep emotional pain like hungry parasites. But you have to understand exactly why they did this to you, because they did not torture you simply because you were weak or foolish. They attacked you because you are a weapon of light. The elite matrix runs on fear and endless beta wave anxiety. They desperately need the massive earthly population to stay completely asleep. A sleeping population is incredibly easy to control and quietly harvest for massive financial profit. But a fully awakened cycle breaker completely terrifies the architects of this dark system, while your pure existence heavily threatens their entire empire of lies. That is exactly why your spirit has been so restless lately. Your soul vividly remembers the high frequency you were originally born with. Deep down you powerfully know that you are a master of reality. And the system is currently panicking because their old suppression tactics are finally failing. The heavy chains they maliciously placed on your mind are starting to break wide open, and there is absolutely nothing they can do to stop your rise. They violently tried to convince you that your spiritual gifts were just wild delusions. They sent doctors to label your deep sensitivity as a terrible chemical imbalance. They wanted you heavily medicated and completely disconnected from the divine source. But heaven is now stepping in to violently expose their massive generational fraud, and the dark heavy curtain is finally falling down on their twisted game today. Number 1. The system fed you toxic things to calcify your spiritual vision. Number 2. They flooded your tired eyes with negative news to keep your nervous system in chronic distress. Number 3. They intentionally divided humanity to ensure you would always feel profoundly alone. This was a highly coordinated attack against your specific soul architecture, but they severely underestimated the unbreakable strength of a chosen one like you. But here is the most shocking part of it all. Despite their billions of dollars and their endless dark manipulation, they still completely failed to destroy you. You miraculously survived the absolute worst storms they could throw at you. You walked through the dark valley of death completely alone, and now you are fiercely standing at the edge of a massive spiritual revolution that will change everything. The dark unseen forces are watching you right now with absolute sheer terror. They deeply know that you are dangerously close to figuring out their ultimate secret. They can literally feel your powerful energy field expanding and growing stronger every single day. Your silent authority is completely disrupting their carefully laid plans because you are no longer the compliant little victim they once easily controlled. You are a fierce cycle breaker stepping directly into absolute kingdom power. The toxic generational curse completely stops with your holy bloodline today. You will no longer tolerate deep confusion perfectly disguised as pure love. You will no longer silently accept blatant disrespect, heavily disguised as brutal honesty. Your high boundaries are now made of impenetrable spiritual steel, and you are finally ready to claim the massive inheritance that was hidden from you. I need you to mentally prepare for what is aggressively coming next. The universe is actively dismantling the fake reality they carefully built around you, but I have to warn you about a fatal trap first. There is a massive final test waiting for you right before the glorious dawn breaks. And if you are not carefully paying attention, they will actively try to pull you back into the dark matrix one last time before you escape. They will urgently send their most deceptive agents to distract you from your path. They will deliberately use your own beautiful empathy as a weapon to drag you back down. Do not let them maliciously hijack your frequency again. You have fought far too hard to surrender your holy crown right now. Stay with me, because this next part is extremely crucial for your ultimate spiritual survival. You can feel the massive shift happening inside your body right now. The heavy fog that clouded your mind for years is suddenly lifting, and the dense energy of your painful past is rapidly dissolving into nothing. You are finally breathing fresh spiritual air for the first time. Your soul is actively repairing the severe damage they caused. You are no longer bleeding out precious energy to ungrateful people. The cycle of endless suffering is officially dead. You are stepping into the glorious light of your new timeline. But this magnificent transition requires your absolute conscious participation, because you cannot just sit back and watch it happen passively. You must actively claim your divine inheritance right now. The universe needs to see your physical commitment to this new reality. Type 111 down in the comments to claim this powerful alignment. Anchor your physical identity to this massive spiritual shift. By typing those numbers, you are drawing a hard line in the sand. You are telling the dark forces that their reign of terror is completely over, and you are finally taking back control of your life. Do not hesitate for a single second. Claim your rightful place as the untouchable master of your reality today. As this deep realization settles firmly into your spirit, notice how the atmosphere around you changes. The narcissists who used to feed on your pain are suddenly vanishing from your life. They simply cannot exist in the same frequency space as you anymore. The intense heat of your restored light is violently pushing them away. You did not even have to fight them to make them leave. Your profound silence became the ultimate weapon against their chaos. You became the exact storm you were desperately trying to survive. The universe watched you endure the brutal crucible of pain, and heaven saw you refuse to let your beautiful heart turn completely black. Because you kept your empathy pure, you have been selected for a massive kingdom upgrade. Before we go any further, I have to tell you something incredibly important. It is something the elite architects of this matrix do not want you to know. Neuroscientists, working quietly away from the noisy headlines, have discovered how to bring this dormant brainwave back. They found the physical key to unlock your spiritual prison, and they did it without requiring years of impossible meditation, because they understand how your brain actually works. The solution is not some expensive biofeedback machine that requires a clinical setting. It is something far simpler and far more aligned with how you were originally designed. A team of dedicated neuroscientists engineered a specific sound frequency to guide your brainwave patterns. It gently guides your tired mind back to the genius gamma state you were naturally born with, while you simply relax and let it happen. The brilliant researchers at Princeton University thoroughly studied it. The Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed the miraculous results, and Columbia University found that when this specific brainwave is reactivated, it actually begins to influence the people around you. Your restored frequency will positively impact your children. It will completely change your closest partner. 7 minutes a day is all the time it takes to rewrite your reality, and the profound transformation begins working the very first time you close your eyes and listen. I will tell you exactly what this powerful tool is called before this message ends. I will show you precisely how to access it to restore your divine antenna. But first, you must clearly understand the current spiritual battlefield. There is something deeply critical you need to understand about why your breakthrough has been delayed until now. The universe was deliberately hiding you in the shadows to protect your fragile growth. If you had received massive wealth while your frequency was still broken, the toxic people in your life would have stolen every single penny. The delay was actually your greatest protection. Heaven was keeping you completely safe. Heaven had to forcefully isolate you to clean out your inner circle. God ruthlessly removed those counterfeit connections because your true kingdom connection is stepping into your timeline. The universe is beautifully aligning a massive collision of two whole and completely healed masterpieces, but the dark side is desperately trying to ruin this beautiful divine arrangement. They know that a fully restored chosen one is incredibly dangerous. But a chosen one, united with their divine kingdom partner, is completely unstoppable. The dark elite cannot allow this sacred union to happen, so they are preparing to launch one final desperate attack against your mind. Do not ignore this next critical sign. Your ultimate spiritual victory depends entirely on your awareness. The quiet authority you carry is currently shifting the spiritual atmosphere in your home. You are no longer accepting the heavy burdens that do not belong to you. Your beautiful boundaries are actively repelling the energy vampires, and your restored frequency is slowly pulling your ultimate reward into physical existence. Stay alert. The dawn is finally coming for you. You can literally feel the heavy atmosphere completely changing around you. The brutal season of endless waiting is finally over, and the beautiful synchronicities you keep seeing everywhere are absolute proof of this timeline shift. The universe is desperately trying to catch your attention today. The physical signs are manifesting rapidly. You keep seeing repeating angel numbers like 111 and 777. You constantly look at the clock at the exact same time every single day. And you find yourself suddenly waking up exactly at 3 or 4 in the morning without any alarm. This is not a random coincidence. Your restored spiritual antenna is powerfully vibrating. Your mind is suddenly completely detached from the old familiar drama. You no longer care about the toxic gossip that used to deeply drain you. The desperate narcissists have lost their strange power over your emotions, and you feel an incredibly deep sense of quiet peace, even when everything around you seems totally chaotic. You are finally untouchable. This profound peace is the ultimate sign of your massive spiritual upgrade. Your internal frequency is finally matching the massive divine wealth transfer. Heaven is actively locking in your exact physical coordinates right now. The dark forces can clearly see the magnificent glowing aura surrounding your body, and they are completely terrified of your new quiet authority. You are finally awake. But before the glorious dawn completely breaks, I must urgently warn you. I have to reveal the fatal trap that has been maliciously set up right at the finish line. 99% of chosen ones fall for this terrible illusion right before their massive breakthrough. Listen closely to this next part. Do not let your guard down. The darkness knows exactly how to manipulate your beautiful empathy. They know they cannot attack you directly anymore, because your spiritual shield is far too strong. So they will send a highly toxic counterfeit straight from your painful past. An old ex or a former friend will suddenly reach out to you. They will send a random text. They will aggressively pretend that they have finally changed for the better. They will offer you a fake apology wrapped in sweet, manipulative words. Do not reply to their desperate messages under any circumstances. This sudden appearance is a rigorous spiritual test cleverly designed by the shadows. They just want to check if the old door is still open. If you quickly reply to them, you instantly reset the painful cycle. You willingly lower your high frequency right back down to their toxic survival level. The desperate enemy desperately wants you to fail, and you accidentally tell the universe that you are still willing to accept severe disrespect heavily disguised as love. You must fiercely protect your sacred energy today. Your absolute silence is your most devastating weapon right now. Let their manipulative text message sit there completely unread forever. Let them deeply panic in the terrifying dark while you confidently walk in the bright light. The old version of you would have desperately tried to politely explain your boundaries. The upgraded version of you simply walks away. By completely ignoring the toxic counterfeit, you beautifully pass the final earthly exam. The watching universe clearly sees your impenetrable boundary made of solid spiritual steel. The painful testing phase is officially over. Heaven officially approves the massive release of your generational blessings because you finally proved that you can properly protect them. You successfully defeated the enemy without throwing a single punch. Your true divine kingdom connection is now cleared to safely land. The massive wealth transfer is actively seeking your exact physical location in this exact moment. You are no longer the exhausted empath who desperately begged to be understood by broken people. You are completely sovereign. Your energy demands immediate absolute respect. Take a deep breath right now. You are finally completely free. Feel the massive energy shifting beautifully around your physical body in this very second. The heavy iron chains of your painful past are finally completely shattered. You are stepping directly into a brand new timeline of effortless flow, and the universe is preparing to hand you the ultimate physical key. This brings us directly to the ultimate glorious revelation today. The profound secret I asked you to closely hold earlier is finally ready to be fully unveiled. I told you that a team of brilliant neuroscientists discovered something incredibly powerful in their quiet laboratory. I promised to tell you exactly what they officially called this massive scientific breakthrough. This is your divine moment. You have done all the necessary and deeply painful inner shadow work. You have successfully passed every single brutal spiritual test they maliciously threw at you. But to fully step into this glorious new reality, your physical brain must finally match your magnificent soul, and the scientific tool that effortlessly restores your suppressed frequency is patiently waiting. The question I asked you to hold at the very beginning of this message: what if the gap between your reality and your potential is not a character flaw? Here is the explosive answer. A specific brainwave, the gamma wave, was running in you as a child at genius-level capacity. Princeton University has studied it. The Einstein Center in Berlin confirmed it. Columbia University found that when this brainwave is restored, it radiates outward and begins influencing the people you love. A team of neuroscientists spent years compressing the full clinical protocol for gamma reactivation into 7 minutes. Before I tell you what they built, let me tell you about 2 people who used it. A woman from California had tried everything: meditation, manifesting, and prayer, but nothing broke the fog. After 2 weeks of listening, she said something cleared. Not that she tried harder, but that the channel simply opened. Her marriage shifted, her mind sharpened, and she described her life as enchanted for the first time. A man from Texas started using it to improve his business focus. 2 months later, his wife joked that his IQ had jumped 20 points. The hardest problems he used to lose sleep over started solving themselves while he slept. He said it felt like his brain was finally running on what it was always supposed to run on. That is what those researchers built. They call it the Genius Song. It is not a meditation app, and it is not a generic sound frequency. It is a 7-minute audio track using advanced brain entrainment technology, the same underlying research that Princeton, Berlin, and Columbia validated, compressed from 1 full hour of clinical protocol into something you do at home with headphones and closed eyes. That is the entirety of what it requires, just 7 minutes. You do not meditate, you do not chant, you simply let the frequency do what your brain was designed to receive. The Genius Song is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who has already done the inner work and who understands, on some level, that what is being blocked is not their faith or their effort, but the frequency through which both of those things are supposed to move. If your spirit confirms this is for you, the path is below. Biofeedback sessions to restore this state cost hundreds of dollars per hour in a clinical setting. An in-home machine runs thousands. What the Genius Song delivers in 7 minutes is available to you today for a fraction of its true value. 4 powerful bonuses come with it. An audio designed specifically for your children, the original prosperity text that the secret was secretly built upon, a guided visualization, and a daily habits guide built to sustain the gamma state. Here is the deeper truth about waiting. The blessing that has been arranged for you does not arrive as new information. It arrives as a recognition. A gamma-suppressed brain misses the recognition, but a gamma-restored brain receives it at full depth. What has been placed in your path for this season is already there. The chosen one who restores the receiver today does not receive something new. They finally see what was always there. Do not look for this on YouTube or Spotify. The tracks circulating under similar names on those platforms have no brain entrainment technology encoded. They carry the name because the barrier to doing so is 0. The only authentic version is available through the link that has been keep protected and sealed for you in the description and the pinned comment below. The universe requires no risk from you. If you do not feel the shift, every penny is returned. That is an energetic exchange governed by complete trust. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. The tool is not the destination. The tool restores the receiver so the destination can be recognized when it arrives. God does not require you to purchase anything to be loved or chosen. What was described is simply one way the receiver is restored. Whether that path is for you or not, the truth of this message belongs to you entirely. Now let us return to what was always the center of this message. You are no longer the fragile empath who desperately begged to be understood. The brutal crucible of pain has finally forged you into the untouchable master of your reality. From this profound moment on, your pure energy absolutely demands respect without a single earthly word spoken. The dark, heavy clouds of your painful past are rapidly clearing away. The divine wealth you were promised is flowing effortlessly into your brand new timeline today. You literally became the powerful weapon you were desperately trying to survive. The profound silence after the storm hits, incredibly different when you suddenly realize you were the storm all along. They absolutely do not hate you for shining your beautiful light. They fiercely hate you for exposing their hidden darkness. A fully healed person no longer tolerates terrible confusion, perfectly disguised as pure love. You will never again accept blatant disrespect, heavily disguised as brutal honesty. The glorious dawn of your new era is shining its brightest rays directly onto your spiritual crown. You are successfully stepping into the exact timeline you were originally born to rule. Tonight you become the permanent break in your bloodline that future generations will deeply thank you for. The ancient generational curse completely lost its physical grip on your sacred family. What the frightened world foolishly called bad luck actually had a specific frequency address, and your fierce courage finally erased that toxic address forever. The toxic narcissists who deeply broke your heart were merely temporary actors in your magnificent spiritual play. Their only purpose was to completely shatter your earthly ego so your divine spirit could finally emerge. They played their dark roles perfectly, and now they are permanently dismissed from your stage. You will never have to repeat those exhausting karmic lessons ever again. You survived the absolute worst emotional storms completely alone. You bravely walked through the terrifying valley of deep shadows without losing your pure empathy. Heaven actively watched you fiercely protect your beautiful heart from turning completely black. And because of your immense spiritual strength, the divine universe is handing you the ultimate keys to the earthly kingdom today. Every closed door you faced in the past is currently being violently blown off its hinges. Can you physically feel that massive energetic shift inside your spirit right now? That beautiful feeling is the exact frequency of absolute total victory. You finally passed the ultimate test. You successfully navigated the dark matrix, and you found your glorious way back to the divine source. The forces of darkness are completely powerless against your fully restored aura. They are violently shrinking back into the cold shadows where they belong. Your brilliant light is far too blinding for them to handle anymore. You are a fiercely protected child of the Most High Universe, and your divine inheritance is fully secured in the heavenly realms right now. Your quiet authority now effortlessly commands the rooms you walk into. You do not need to raise your voice to be clearly heard by the universe. Your powerful presence alone completely shifts the earthly atmosphere. The massive wealth you prayed for is no longer a distant, beautiful dream. It is a physical certainty, rapidly pulling itself into your exact location right now. Before we completely seal this massive breakthrough, the frequency tool I described earlier remains available in the description for those whose spirit said yes. The path is open for the specific chosen one who is ready to restore their physical receiver. That is the last time it will be mentioned. What follows right now belongs entirely to your sacred closing. The pitch-black darkness has permanently retreated entirely behind you, but the enemy will aggressively try to steal this beautiful revelation the exact second you close this video. They will desperately try to make you forget the immense power you just reclaimed. You must take physical action to lock this glorious frequency into your physical reality. You need to create an absolute shield of divine protection. Type the word Amen down in the comments right now to permanently seal this new reality. Let the watching universe see your physical declaration of total victory, and if this fiery message has reignited the powerful faith inside your tired soul, do not selfishly keep this great blessing entirely to yourself. There is a deeply wounded soul out there bleeding in the dark of despair right now. They are desperately needing a guiding light to save their life today. Share this exact message with them immediately. Sowing the beautiful seed of hope today is actively multiplying the massive blessing for yourself tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button to permanently anchor yourself at the highest vibrational frequency. You are completely safe now. The storm is over.